Midwestern Marks does great viral videos on TikTok. Look what he put together on this topic.
Congresswoman AOC was recently called out by protesters for refusing to label what Israel's doing in Gaza as a genocide. Let's see how she responded.
I refuse to call it a genocide. It's not okay that there's a genocide happening. You're not actively against it.
You're lying. You're lying.
You're lying.
You're lying.
So there you have it. AOC tells the protester that it's not okay for him to be confronting her in public. He also criticizes AOC for not labeling what's going on as a genocide or actively fighting against it, to which she calls him a liar. So let's check the record. AOC was recently asked on Meet the Press whether or not she would label what's going on right now as a genocide.
Do you agree with that word genocide, that the president's been supporting a genocide, or does that go too far?
I think what we are seeing right now throughout the country is that young people are appalled at the violence and the indiscriminate loss of life. We are not just seeing 25,000 people that have died in Gaza. We are seeing the starvation of millions of people, the displacement of over 2 million Gazans. We have South Africa that has mounted a court in the ICJ. The ICJ ruled this week that Israel has a grave responsibility to prevent genocide.
But they're still determining whether it's a genocide. Do you think
they are still determining it?
It's still under investigation?
I believe that they're still determining it.
Well, guys, our boy the protester kind of has
that
a
sounds
point.
like she said
didn't label it as a genocide. And she also called this man a liar for saying that she's not actively fighting against genocide. You could argue that she is actively fighting against the genocide, although she's falling short of labeling it a genocide. But really, how can you fight against a genocide if you can't even admit that a genocide is a genocide? To me, this just seemed like a lot of politician weasel words from AOC. And let's not forget, AOC voted for funding Israel's Iron Dome and their military actions in the Gaza Strip. But really, she isn't doing that much to fight against the genocide. And I think it's quite disgraceful for her to label this concerned citizen as a liar, just because he's worried about the 10,000 children and 30,000 people who have been exterminated in the Gaza Strip over the past 100 or so days, which again, AOC in the past has voted in favor of funding. So from my perspective, these guys are heroes, and AOC is nothing but a letdown who makes socialists look bad. Sorry if you're an AOC fan, but that's the way I see it. Tell me what you think in the comments.
Yeah, but that's, like Nick always points out, this is what she's supposed to do. Her and Bernie Sanders, really, the Bernie Sanders industrial complex, they are here to dumb down the left and to make us appear feckless, stupid, unorganized, weak. Anyway, let's move on to the next receipt here.
Congresswoman AOC was recently called out by protesters for refusing to label what Israel's doing in Gaza as
Thank you. All right, next receipt
genocide.
here. Oops.
Let's see how she responded.
That's Eddie from Midwestern Marks. Now, let's watch this part. Let's listen to the AOC here. I'm not even going to preface this video. Let's listen.
A couple of years ago, there was a vote in Congress for funding for the Iron Dome. And you very publicly were torn, even emotional about your vote, which ultimately was present. You put out a statement saying that you opposed Iron Dome funding. I wonder, given everything that we've seen in this last week, the Iron Dome has essentially intercepted thousands of rockets from Hamas. Do you believe now that funding is essential? Would you vote for it today?
And to be clear, at that time, I had voted present on the Iron Dome funding because of what we had seen previously that year in terms of Netanyahu's decisions, which also resulted in the bombing of several buildings that contain media agencies, civilian targets. However, I do think that in this present moment, when we discuss support for Israeli defense systems, that is absolutely legitimate. I think it is absolutely something that whose support we can. So
you would vote yes today if it came to the United States Congress, additional funding for the Iron Dome?
I think if it was explicitly around that. I have concerns about white phosphorus. I have concerns about the respect for about human rights and ensuring that we have humanitarian aid going through. But on the sole principle of Iron Dome and defense, I absolutely think there's an openness for sure.
I want to get you
She gives away so many tells. The stuttering, the saying not completing a thought, like saying something 3 words in a sentence and then moving to a different sentence. The blinking of the eyes. We're supposed to believe this person, and this was her reaction like several days right after October 7th. But this same person want us to believe in the video she has been calling it a genocide. Gotcha. That's Max Blumenthal found that old video.
A couple of years ago, there
and
was
put
a
it on there.
vote
I think I
in
had found it
Congress.
again, but anyway. Is this more reaction? Oh, Tim Black even chimed in. Tim Black says, look at AOC. Listen to her. Pathetic. She's literally running from condemning a genocide. I'm embarrassed I ever supported this now full-fledged establishment receptacle. I torched relationships in a foolish attempt to support the squad. And in this, and this is where we are. So Tim Black gave up friendships over the squad and most of the Bernie Sanders industrial complex, and look at what they look like now. Here's Caitlin Johnstone chiming in saying, just a few years ago, half of left Twitter brought the hammer down on me for making fun of AOC's phony performance stick. Glad we all see through this worthless shit lib now. Democrats are not your friend, people. And then, of course, her crying here, and then her here. Under Trump versus under Biden. Do you like that, guys? All right, so let's listen to this other part here. Here's another flashback video that I wanted to play. Come on.
Well, I believe absolutely in Israel's right to exist.
Let's listen. This person called for a genocide.
Israel. Well, I believe absolutely in Israel's right to exist. I also think that what people are starting to see, at least in the occupation of Palestine, is
you use the term the occupation of Palestine. What did you mean by that?
What did you
I
mean?
think what I meant is like the settlements that are increasing. And
she's not good at this. She is so not good at this. She's so not good at memorizing all of the establishment talking points. She's not good at it's a better way of saying it. She's not good at answering on the fly questions about as an establishment representative. She's not good at that. She gets thrown off and you can clearly tell. Let's listen.
Israel. Well, I believe absolutely in Israel's right to exist. I also think that what people are starting to see, at least in the occupation of Palestine, is
you use the term the occupation of Palestine. What did you mean by that?
I think
she's realizing. Oh, I said occupation. That is not that's not an establishment approved word or concept that we can discuss. So she's like, oh, fucking bitch. What is the fucking answer to this? And it's glorious to watch it live. I'll hopefully it'll play again. If not, I'll just stop the video. Look at this brain fort.
I think what I meant is like the settlements that are increasing in some of these areas and places where
or Palestinians are
Oh my
experiencing
God, she's terrible.
difficulty in access to their housing and homes. Do you think you can expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd also just, I am not the expert on geopolitics on this
So
issue.
she goes, this is what she does. So when she's challenged on her pseudo left position, then it's, oh, I'm not an expert. Bernie Sanders does this too. When he's asked about, oh, I don't keep track of this kind of stuff. Because if you keep track and you are the supposed leftist you claim to be, there's a contradiction here. So I don't know that much about geopolitics. You don't, and you're a politician? Isn't that kind of your job?